Yeah, because I think I started more like become a little bit more mature when I turned like maybe like 27. So
Yeah, like your
late,
late, like your
late
late
20s.
20s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
When I
it's a good
was
time.
just kind of like, maybe I should like try to figure out my life and
Yeah.
see where this is going.
Well, that's where I think I started understanding who I was, and like I talk about, being a perseverant person and like having the motivation and having that drive. I didn't know that I had it because I was just like doing it.
Yeah, in the moment.
I wasn't self-aware of what was happening. But then I realized, like, once I started going back to school, I was like, okay, yes, the army will pay for school out the gate, but what if I'm terrible at it? Like, what if I'm like really, really bad? Because it's been 4 years since I've been in school.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let me pay for the first semester myself. So I was working at the Walmart warehouse out in USA Parkway. I was working 312s, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then I was going to school Tuesday through Friday. So I paid for that shit myself. And I was like, okay, if I can put myself through school and still get through it, then yeah, I can do this. I can dial back my job a little bit, but I wanted, I wanted money, because once you get out from not having money, you're like, shit, I want money now. So I put myself through the first semester of school, first 2 semesters of school actually, and then I let the army start kicking in their bit. I got my associates, but like it felt like every year had a milestone or something that I had to push through to be able to stay focused. I remember the first year, I just went through a bunch of bad relationships, man. Like just nothing was working. I couldn't understand how to be there for someone else because I was still going through so much shit myself. I had no idea how to like let my shit go to let somebody else in. And I think for a long time, shit, I still have issues with it, man. Like I'm not gonna lie. I still
I was gonna say props
self-awareness.
props for opening up right now, because a lot of men don't even bother mentioning shit. So keep going, please.
But yeah, and it was like after that, next semester I crashed my motorcycle, and I was in a cast. I ripped all my skin off my left leg, took a couple millimeters off my ankle, fucked my shit up. Pushing through that, trying to go to school. Oh my god! And I had a stick shift car, bro. That shit was brutal. And then yeah, man, I was in a decent relationship, but I just didn't know how to be in a relationship, man. It bothered me because I was like, I know that I'm fucking up, but I can't stop myself from doing it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how. I don't know how to like let go of my shit to like embrace someone else's.
I've always kind of wondered when people think like that. It's like, do you really don't know how, or do you just not want to like change?
I think it was a both.
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah,
huh?
I think it's both because I think you're still trying
It's like
to shed.
because you already know you're fucking up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's
So
crazy
it's-
about this particular topic? I'm kind of triggered right now because
Yeah.
I feel like the time that I did have like such good women in my life, I was not ready up here,
Bro.
dude, mentally. Like if I knew what I know now as far as relationships and I guess women in general, like fuck, I would be a much better partner at the time. But I was so young, like, and I'm not saying that as an excuse, but it's just the reality of being a man is like that part of our brain just doesn't kick in until you're a little bit older.
Yeah.
And man, like, just I wish that I had known all this stuff, but also like I wouldn't trade the journey for it.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
one of those like you wouldn't know, like you wouldn't learn all this if you didn't go through that.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is like when girls were interested in me, like my brain wasn't ready for that kind of commitment and for that maturity.
Yeah.
And now that no girls want me, I you know what I'm saying? Like
Now that I'm single,
now I'm like
realizing.
now I'm like there. So it's like the timing is just not helping me out. Anyway,
But no, I mean that's a good point, and I don't want to get too far off track, but it's like it sucks because it happens to all of us, right?
Yeah.
And with the worst, I think yes, it's bad for us. It's always worse for women because think about how many fucked up guys like us they had to go through when they were ready, and they're like, I'm giving you everything, like I'm doing everything you want me to do, and we're
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
unappreciative.
they get there mentally much sooner than we do. Yeah.
Right. And so, like, think about how many good women that men mess up because we're not ready.
Guilty.
Yeah, guilty. I mean, I've fucked up so many relationships I can't even count. If there's so many good people in my life that I was not appreciative at the time,
Yeah.
and I just didn't realize until way, or not maybe sometimes not way after, but like after.
Yeah.
And then the guilt, dude, the guilt that brings for me, like I said earlier, I always try to take the most accountability in every situation
Yeah.
because I know that I fucked up, and I'm my hardest critic.
Yeah.
And I know everyone's like, oh yeah, like, you know, I'm hard on myself. I'm like, I am like, there's people that are hard on themselves, and then I'm like, bro, I get to the point of damn near hating myself, and it sucks.
Yeah. And I think
I
it's
feel it.
yeah, all of that is a good point, but then it's also when you're in a relationship, it's also it's a two-way street.
Right.
So like it's not like it's all your fault. I mean, there's, you know, whatever the situation is. And cuz like that's kind of true that you've probably been there before where you fucked up like some innocent girl
Colossally.
somehow, and then you've probably been on the other side of that too, like because I've been on both sides.
Right. Oh,
So-
darn. Darn.
Pause.
We'll talk about that on a different podcast.
It's a different
But it's
podcast.
yeah, because I don't know, like it's just part of the experience. Like your life right now is all accumulative of all the experiences. that you have.
Right. That's what I mean. I have
Yeah.
so much wisdom now, but like, you know, like there was a bunch of girls that were wifey material at the time where I just was a kid up here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now it's just the dating market sucks. At least for me, not a good
You're
experience.
also in Reno, so
I don't think the place really matters.
I don't think.
I think it
Yeah.
did. Well, yeah, you guys didn't grow up here. I know too many people in Reno now. That's my problem. Is that like, well, I thank God I don't have to worry about the dating market anymore. But like, when I was like, man, like
that's because you were a slut.
well, damn. Next topic.
Anyways.
I'm gonna plead the fifth, but yeah, man. I mean, let's back it up a little bit. Going back, the perseverance comes also in relationships, man. Is like if you're in this place where you don't know what to do, are you gonna try to stay strong and work it out? Well, all relationships suck. Not all relationships suck. All relationships have hard times.
Right.
All relationships are gonna have arguments.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to sit there and you're going to argue it out, or are you going to quit? But there's a very, very important line that you need to understand from what is toxic and what is workable. So, and I think we get lost, especially as men, because we are not as good at discussing and communicating, that we don't know what's toxic sometimes and what's like what's fixable and what can just be solved with communication, and what is like, oh no, like I'm just going in circles. Am I going in circles, or am I doing the wrong thing? And it takes a lot
And
to
that's-
figure that out.
I mean, that's part of being self-aware. Like, how aware are you with what you're doing? It's like,
Bro.
because when I think, at least, like when you become a little bit more aware, like you know what's toxic and what's I guess in progress or workable. So it's your choice. Like if you want to stay in this, like is this really the right relationship for me or a right situation or whatever it is. But yeah, like there's a lot of, man, I really want to dive into like dating like in this podcast, like somehow, like I obviously like want to invite
maybe you
like
should have a
girls in here.
separate segment for that. or
Yeah,
something.
like I want to invite like different perspective from
Yeah,
you know.
I think it's a great idea, because then you can, not to get like gender bias here, but like it'd be cool to get both sides of the relationship.
yeah.
Like from a masculine point of view, like where is your head at?
Mm-hmm.
But from a feminine point of view, like where's yours? Like
Yeah.
you know, and then you're almost doing couples therapy.
Yeah, in a way.
It's cool to have that though.
I feel like this podcast is pretty much therapy.